Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible? Thank you. No problem.
नमस्कार प्रशांत मोथे सर।
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Patel, sir. Thank you. Yes, yes, you are audible.
विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि पराशुव यद्भद्रं तन्नाशुव. In English, Ocean, Lord of the universe, remove our defects, bring whatever is auspicious to us. You are welcome in 1 week faculty development program, which is organized by the IQAC and the Department of English Government DSB Sanskrit College, Raipur. Today is second day of FDP. Today, our resource person is Dr. Prashant S. Muthesar, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Adarsh Mahavidyalay, Omega, Maharashtra. Today's topic in enriching vocabulary for effective teaching. So I invite to our resource person, respectable Dr. Prashant S. Muthesar, to deliver the speech.
Am I audible, sir, now? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, you are
And,
audible.
and is my slide visible to each and everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, we can.
Okay, good. Okay, I will try to make it full. Okay. Is this okay? Okay. Good afternoon, one and all. Honorable Principal of Government DSV, Sanskrit College, Raipur, Dr. Radha Pandeman, Coordinator and Head, Dr. Raju Tiwari, sir, Dr. Patel, sir, Nurul Honda, sir, and dear participants. At the outset, I need to congratulate the college and its entire team for organizing 1 week National Faculty Development Program on enriching, enhancing, we can say, enhancing teaching learning skills through acquisition of English language, which I think is the need of an hour in the present globalized world as well as globalized COVID-19 situation to discuss on enhancing teaching and learning skills virtually. And second, for inviting nationally acclaimed speakers like yesterday, keynote speaker was BKS racer, then SK Sagar Ali has delivered their talk. They discuss on equipping and enabling us ways to overcome the English language barriers, ICT enabled teaching, learning, and evaluation tools, techniques of learning English, and success stories from English classroom to actual classroom, and come out with the solution how to get we can say fluency or competency over English language. So friends, let us begin with my actual talk. Uh, my talk will first let me clear at the beginning that my presentation is divided into three major parts. At first, I will discuss about significance of teaching and learning vocabulary. Then I will focus on aspects involved in knowing a word and various shades of meanings of words. And further at the or we can say towards the end of my talk, I will talk about digital strategies of teaching and learning of vocabulary. So let us begin. Let us begin with we can say that significance of teaching and learning vocabulary. One cannot learn a language without learning vocabulary. So Wilkins rightly says that we can point out that I quote, without grammar, very little can be conveyed, but without vocabulary, nothing can be conveyed. So, actually, this quotation has revealed the fact that if we want to use a language effectively, we must have good stock of vocabulary. Vocabulary is a very important means to come to express our thoughts and feelings either in a spoken or a written form. Instead, we can say indeed neither literature in the form of different languages, either in Sanskrit or in Hindi or in any Marathi or any language, or nor language exists without words, because language is made up of words. So, in this context, Thornbury aptly discourses here that if I quote what Thornbury, a famous lexicologist, who has rightly said that if you spend most of your time studying grammar, your English will not improve very much. You will see the most improvement if you learn more words and expressions. You can say very little with grammar, but you can say almost anything with words. This quotation also emphasizes on the fact that the role of words in our life, as words are the building blocks of a language. Like bricks, we know that bricks, they are vital for building a building. Okay, in the same way, words are like bricks, and they are vital for building a language. John Drinkwater, a famous, uh, we can say, writer, who rightly says that words are the bricks, and the bricks with which the poetry and the literature of the world have been built. So it is mainly through using words. I am communicating with each and everyone through words only. So it is mainly through using words that we can express our thoughts. I am talking about the importance of words, vocabulary, through words only. So it is one element, we can say, which links the four major important skills of a language, which are those: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So those who are rich in vocabulary can speak and write English perfectly. This is what I want to say regarding this. And in this context, even McCarthy, a famous lexicologist, a well-known, reputed lexicologist, argues in this context. He rightly argues, I quote his words, no matter how well the students learns grammar, no matter how successfully the sounds of L2 are mastered, without words to express a wide range of meanings, communication in an L2, that is second language, just cannot happen in a meaningful way. Here I am not denying the importance of grammar, but the fact that I am emphasizing about more on words instead of grammar. So all the lexicologists wants to emphasize on the single fact that the study of vocabulary should be or is the center while learning a new language. Either you are learning Sanskrit or Japanese, Chinese, words should be at the center while learning a new language. English being a second or foreign language in majority of the countries, one needs to learn vocabulary in a systematic way. In fact, without words, communication in a second or foreign language is not possible in a meaningful way. So, however, you are expert in the rules of a grammar, rules of a Sanskrit language, if you don't know what should be called a particular object, we can't express our thoughts or feelings or expressions, right? So words are vehicles which do diverse duties for us. They are vital to our existence. We cannot think without words. Words are thoughts. We cannot plan, draw conclusions, draft arguments, pass judgment, say our prayers, and or even we can't compose music without words. There, there can hardly be any meaningful relationship, beautiful or bad, close or we can say casual, without words. So words are the most powerful elements in any when we want to learn a foreign language or second language. Here we need to focus on another very important thing, that is aspects involved in knowing a word. So let us look at the aspects involved in knowing a word. I won't go in detail. English being a second language or foreign language, one needs to learn vocabulary in a systematic way. So, knowing a word involves knowing its form, its meaning, its use. So, one of the most famous, even lexicologist, well-known lexicologist, Paul Nation, ISP Nation, he's also called it as ISP Nation, who has spent his entire life in order to know about knowing a word or related to a word life. His life is, his world is for devoted for word only. So he we can say that besides spellings, when we go through any well-known dictionary, we can find when if we uttered a particular word, we first needs to know about its spelling, form, literal meaning, pronunciation, parts of the parts of the verb, either it is adjective or adverb or preposition, conjunction. What is that? So we need to think of a another important thing related to McCarthy. He has really uttered, and we need to know about that. Knowing a word involves knowing its spoken or written context of use, its patterns with words of a related meaning, as well as its collocation patterns. It's a systematic, pragmatic, intellectually and producing, we can say productively as well as receptively. So here we need to think about collocations, aspects related to words. We need to understand certain terminological uh, terminology related to words. Which are those terminological things that we need to understand? Is first one is collocations. So the thing is that first we need to understand what do we mean by collocations. Actually, the word collocation is the habitual juxtaposition of a particular word with another word. In simple words, we can say that words with a frequency greater than any other words. Another way we can say that in a simple, very simple way, we can utter that commonly combined two words are called collocations. For example, we say opinion poll, not outlook poll or view poll. We can say, we always say that make money, not create money. We also say that here golden opportunity, not bronze opportunity or silver opportunity. So collocations are very important. We need to understand and learn uh, various collocations, because when we use collocations, we they make our language sounds like a natural. The way speaks language, in that context we need to understand and learn and teach collocations in our classrooms. Phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs is an idiomatic phrase consisting of a verb and another element we can say especially either an adverb or a preposition. For example, uh, look at, look at. This is look is another preposition has uh, phrasal verbs. So break down, right? So look down, look at, look into, see to, in order to. Such are the various phrasal verbs, and phrasal verbs are very much important. They are extremely common in informal English, and unless you are familiar with their meanings, because only one verb, look at, has a different meaning, look into has a different meaning, look around has a different meaning. Unless we are familiar with their meanings, understanding will be very much difficult. So we need phrasal verbs, we need to grasp various phrasal verbs in our idioms. An idiom is a phrase in which the entire meaning is different from the usual meanings of the individual words within that. For example, we can say to be raining cats and dogs. If the students goes by literal meaning, it's cats and dogs are not falling down. In fact, they are falling from the sky. So if we go by literal meaning, but the fact is that then we need to explain or to describe when it's one should utter these words. It's raining really, we can say heavily. So we can use this kind of idioms to express or to make our mm, language more figurative way, or more we can say sophisticated. We need to learn idioms as much as we can while we are expressing our thoughts or when we are writing. So one more thing that we need to ponder over is that words often confuse. The words like adapt and adopt may sound, but their meanings are very much different. The verb adapt means to change something, and the verb adopt means to take something and make its own. So adopt has a different meaning, adapt has a different meaning. It is more like we need to understand homonyms or homophones, like the words like see. So C has SEE, right? So I and EYE. Principle has a difference. Words often confuse. Homonyms, homophones are the different forms of words. So one word substitutions, that is also one of the important terms that we need to understand, and we need to learn, and we need to more focus on such terminological things, that one of the integral part of learning vocabulary. It simply means that a sentence has to be replaced with a single word. So for example, instead of saying a person who sees positive side of a life is called optimistic person, a person who sees dark side of a life is called pessimistic person. So we need to, instead of using when we are writing an essay and writing a paragraph, two different things. So we need to express more we can say thoughts. We can say very less words. This is also one of the important. For that we need to have a lot of vocabulary, or we need to have power of vocabulary. So vocabulary knowledge is not knowledge, is knowledge. The knowledge of a word not only implies a definition, but how that word to the world. uh, we need to understand a particular context whenever we are learning a particular uh, context, whenever we are learning that particular word, because every word has a different shades of meanings, various aspects of meanings. So which are those common aspects of meaning that we need to understand is types of meanings. One is, we can say, conceptual meaning, is also called as logical or cognitive meaning, or denotative meaning. So it is the basic prepositional meaning which corresponds to the, we can say, the meaning which we find generally in dictionaries, right? So the conceptual meaning deals with the core meaning of expression. For example, whenever you are saying it is essential for needle, may may be thin, sharp instrument, like this. So thesaurus, you need to find it one word which is related to so many synonyms of those words. So it is simple way, uh, that particular word, when we utter that particular word, it has its own conceptual meaning. So connotative meaning, it is the use of words to suggest a different association meaning. For example, if one uttered the word like blue is a color, for example, she is feeling blue. If we uttered a single word, common expression, she is feeling blue. So, literal meaning blue is right, feeling of sadness. So she is feeling blue. Connotatively, we can be used in a positive. So we need to understand different shades of meanings, like a connotative meaning. Another thing is that social meaning. Actually, social meaning, this refers to what is communicated of the social circumstances of lives, including various aspects involved in it: dialect, time, topic, class, region, and speaker-listener relationship. For example, if we uttered a word house, so a meaning in everyday life is a building where people live. But in social context, it might be parliamentary body, right? So party. If we uttered this word party, I quote party, PERTY, party. A meaning in everyday life is a social gathering where everyone has a fun. But in the social context, a group of people having political interest, it is also a party. So social meaning is, we need to understand. Affective or emotive meaning, uh, for some linguists it refers to emotive association or effects of that words on reader or listeners. For example, if we uttered word like beam, immediately strength appears in front of all of us, or business person or entrepreneur. Wealth is related to personal feelings or attitude towards the listener, right? So it is more evoked in the minds of the reader or in the minds of listener. So it's a kind of a more e- effective kind of meaning, right? So reflected meaning arises when a word has more than one conceptual meaning or multiple conceptual meaning. Uh, uh, for example, uh, gay is the word which was very much common during William Wordsworth's poetry, but it has a different context in today's era. It is more related to homosexuality, right? But it was that meaning during William Wordsworth's time. So intercourse and other words are used or been used for different purpose, innocent purpose like communication, but now it has a sexual kind of a things. So reflected meaning has a conceptual or the meaning that arouses. Okay, collective meaning, uh, one single word has a different kind of meaning, but when they goes together, it might have a different kind of meaning. Like collective meaning, it is the meaning which is a word acquires in the company of that particular or certain words. Words collocate, as I have already said that when we uttered woman, so it might be different thing, right? But we when we uttered said pretty woman, so these two words combined, it has become a different kind of a meaning, right? So collocative words. Thematic meaning, it refers to what is communicated by the way in which a speaker or a writer organizes the message in terms of ordering, focus, emphasis. Uh, Generally, the active is different from the passive voice. We do different kind of emphasis, focus. For example, Nakul sir is there. Nakul owns the biggest shop in Raipur, right? When I utter this sentence, Nakul owns the biggest shop in Raipur. Second one is the biggest shop in Raipur belongs to Nakul. Is converted from active voice to passive voice. First, my focus was on Nakul. Nakul owns the biggest shop in Raipur, but the biggest shop. Second time, I have focused on the biggest shop instead of Nakul. So it has a thematical kind of a meaning. Next important thing that we need to understand here is active and passive vocabulary. This is also very much interesting part that one needs to understand. What do you mean by active vocabulary? When we read this slide, active vocabulary means general and academic words, those words that a man can use correctly in his own speech and writing. He fully understand the meaning of those words. It's also called working or functional vocabulary. I will explain this one in a very simple word. Words. Passive vocabulary means consist of those words of a man which he recognizes when he meets them in prints or in speech of others. He can make out the meanings of those words. It is also called recognition vocabulary. So when we try to understand the difference between active and passive vocabulary, I want to give you one simple example. If a teacher asks 10 students to deliver their talk on a single topic, that is global warming, each and every student will come at front and deliver his speech. When a particular student is delivering his speech, if for example he is talking about a large thing, something large, so one student might use the word like enrich, another will come and use the words like enhance, third one will come and use the word improve, boost, upgrade, right, lift, polish, refine, heighten. So what is active vocabulary? Active vocabulary is that thing when I am delivering a speech on a particular topic, I might I always I, I always use in my own speech and writing the words like enhance. But there is a possibility that Nakul sir will come and he use the word enrich instead of enhance on while describing particular thing. But I understood the word enhance, right? But this is not my active vocabulary. My active vocabulary is simple one, develop. Okay, develop. So whenever I am delivering any speech, I will always use that develop, develop, develop. And a particular person will come and he will say enrich, enrich, enrich. But I understood the meaning of. Uh, we can also relate these things with different news channels. Whenever we are watching a particular news, but playing the same news, but different anchors are delivering that particular speech or incident. Okay, so we understand that particular word, but this is not the way everyone speaks. So my active vocabulary is different one, and yours active vocabulary is different one. But I can understand and convert that passive vocabulary into my active vocabulary. Afterwards, uh, purposefully, I can convert those passive vocabulary into active vocabulary. So this is a skill. This is what we want to enrich. This is what we want to learn from the famous speakers like Shashi Tharoor is there. When Shashi Tharoor is delivering a speech on any particular topic, there is a possibility that we can understand. But when we are talking about that speech, there is a very seldom possibility that we are speaking in the same way Shashi Tharoor speak. He talks in a very sophisticated kind of words or vocabulary, but I can purposefully convert those passive vocabulary into active vocabulary, and this is a skill, and this is what we need to understand. And there are several ways to grasp and learn and teach different kinds, or we can say the problem is that right from my childhood I have been learning different words by grammar translation method, that giving word and translate that word into students' mother tongue. That's why whenever someone is trying to speak in English language, and this workshop, this faculty development program is particularly devoted to, we can say, for communication competency, right? So how to speak fluently in English, and what is the significance of English language in today's era. So this is the biggest barriers when we learn a particular word into our mother tongue. Then when a particular student want to speak, he might be remember that particular word, but there is a possibility that he can't recollect that particular word into English language. So he try to translate those words, and it takes unnecessary pauses. So instead of that, we can use a direct method, or we can use English to English dictionaries, total physical response, communicative language teaching. These were the techniques which we have been using for enriching vocabulary since decades. But there are more than different techniques that we need to understand and develop different uh, digital strategies for teaching and learning vocabulary, that is called I will talk about these things one after another: computer assisted language learning, mobile assisted language learning, MOOCs, TED education, and YouTube. So first let us understand computer assisted language learning. So in recent years, computer assisted vocabulary learning has drawn the attention of teachers and researchers, and has been considered as one of the essential applications of computer assisted language learning. This can be considered as a new fascinating tools for vocabulary instructions in educational context. So we can define call the search for and the study of applications of the computer in language teaching and learning. This definition simply involves the use of computer. Computer assisted language learning means it involves the use of computers in language learning process, either in Sanskrit or Hindi, or we have the language labs, right? So classical language teaching, like grammar translation method and direct method in classroom, when we are using such techniques or tools in the actual classroom, there is a possibility that the classroom can be monotonous, boring, or even frustrating, and students can lose interest and motivation when they are learning particular words. That is why whenever we have decided to learn particular, we have been gone through so many words since we have started to learn English language, but we forgot so many words, right? So computer assisted language programs can provide students ways to learn vocabulary through computer games, animated graphics, and problem solving techniques, which can make uh, teaching and learning vocabulary more interesting and fun frolic way. So we need to use so many techniques like vocabulary.com is there. So this combined learning tool and game allows you to either learn and retain words. You choose or words with the help of this kind of a website. There are thousands of websites are there for learning vocabulary. So due to time constraint, I am not talking about all those uh, computer based, but Google is the best platform. We can learn so many um, uh, aspects related to language, not only related to uh, we can say vocabulary, but we can learn from computer, from Google, from applications, from websites, right? From those websites, and they are useful for uh, vocabulary related quizzing with a quick search, and you can gain accessible word histories, and we can learn etymology of that particular word, and we can find lots of dictionaries and countless vocabulary questions. We need to learn not only meaning but words in the context. That is also very much important. So next thing that is that let us talk about favorite technological tools to learn words are like word mapping tools like Wordly and Wordship. Actually, these tools are free web applications that allows you to create word cloud based on the frequency of words in that particular text. What is the main purpose of this Wordly and Worship is that it helps you to remember for a longer period of time, and Wordly helps you to focus on the most important words, the relationship of those words, and we can correlate all those words related to or synonyms of those words. Somehow we can, the basic purpose of learning vocabulary is that we need to remember words for a longer period of time. So Wordly and Wordship helps you to remember words for a longer period of time, since it has a audio visual, we can say visual elements. So it helps us to remember for a longer period of time. Due to time constraint, I am not talking about these things, but digital word learning tools like dictionary.com, and there are very famous dictionaries available on the websites. So we can play games on um, uh, websites through. So we all encounter unfamiliar words in our reading and need strategies for what to do when this occurs. Rather than using printed dictionary, now everyone has mobiles, and I will talk about during mobile assisted language learning. But reference.com and Merriam-Webster dictionaries are available. Generally used for source of entertainment, but can additionally serve an educational purpose. So when we open dictionaries, there is a possibility that we forget most of the words. So the skimmed word list, test preparation items are there, activities are there, like prefixes, suffixes. These sites can be bookmark for students is independent practice. So my favorite one is Free Rise and Power Vocab. At Free Rise, student can practice matching with words, and even at Power Vocab. So players match words against multiple choice definitions with the added elements of competing against other players. So this is the best way to learn vocabulary. Other important thing is mobile assisted language learning. So mobile assisted language learning is undergoing a rapid evolution as mobile phones can support many kinds of learning, including language learning in general and vocabulary uh, development in particular. So, since it is user friendly, mobile technologies offer numerous practical uses in language learning. We can say a computer is better than a mobile phone for handling. We can say generally mobile phones are more handy tools, and it has visual sounds and textual information, but mobile phone is uh, comfortable with portability. They can be just as easily. We can use it at anywhere. I'm sure that most of us are listening or attending this faculty development program through cell phones, and there is much more progress in the uh, advancement of mobiles, and that's why so many applications. Now it's the emerging booming tool. We can learn thousands of things with the help of mobile. So there are not only applications related to gaming, but we can learn grammar, vocabulary, and there are so many applications. Some of them are free ones, some of them are paid one, but there are uh, various applications help us to memorize words, offer word quizzes, provide us frequently use dozens of vocabulary lists, test feature multiple categories like for intermediate word, advancement words or taboo words, familiar flashcard experience, word in the context, words in the usage, new words, and so many words with examples. So mobile assisted language learning is the best tool to understand. Okay. Another important thing is MOOCs. MOOCs. So everyone is aware about MOOCs, massive open online courses, are online courses that allow participants free access, unrestricted participants. N number of participants can join to particular course. So besides the conventional modes of teaching from our own teachers, this is a new way of learning from experts. So we can join various MOOC courses and learn from them with the because MOOC courses has lectures, videos, and reading materials. It also provides a platform for interactive forum to learn from the global experts. There are several free and paid courses of enriching vocabulary. Few of them I have. You can visit to NPTEL, SWAM, or Coursera, Khan Academy, EDX, Udemy. These are the famous world-class MOOC courses platforms where we can visit and search uh, courses which you want to, if you want to build or enrich or enhance vocabulary. So TED education is the TED Talks. Everyone must be aware about TED Talks, which is a non-profit organization devoted for spreading ideas, usually in the form of or powerful talks, covers almost all topics. Due to time constraint, I am not showing those two videos, but you can visit to these application. You can download it on mobile or Android TV and listen how all these people express their idea in the form of a very short but very powerful ways they can express or convince to the audience. Either they are talking about particular incident or particular topic. So like these two videos, um, make up new words or the power of oral words, right? So you can visit to TED Talks. In fact, we can say that here how we can use YouTube. I forgot the talk about YouTube. Select a video segment that contains a series of actions or visual details. Provide the learners with a list of target words and ask them to construct a paragraph that incorporates as many of the words as possible. So this activity is the best done after the learner have seen that particular video. As they learn how to use more vocabulary properly, you will see an improvement in their writing as well as speaking. So enhanced vocabulary skills are crucial for not only personal but professional development. Using high quality and complex words can take your career to new heights. If you are a writer or a learner, it's important for you to keep updated. So, in short, what I want to say is that the more words one knows, the easier it is to learn new words because one has more associative link available. Teachers should not and I appeal to all the teachers that teachers should not opt for the contemporary methods like grammar translation method or AI method for language teaching just to demonstrate their knowledge possessed by them in a very Oxford kind of sophisticated kind of words, but they should adopt or use the proper tools like the way we are developing and in the computer or in the information and communication technological world. We need to enrich ourselves with the different technological tools. So we need to go for blended kind of learning after this post during pandemic. The best thing has happened is that we have how to use technology in the classroom. Before that, we were forced to do the various kinds of things. We were not focused on that. So such online webinars are convenient, offer flexibility, bring education right to our home, help us to meet more interesting people, promote lifelong learning, and the more important thing is that to learn from the global experts. So once again, I need to thank principal of the college, coordinator, Dr. Sanjeev Tiwari sir, Dr. Patel sir, Narul Honda sir, and dear participant for your active participation and patient hearing. Thank you very much, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Now start the interactive session. I request to all participants they can ask their questions or doubts to our resource person.
Myself, R.K. Srivastava.
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Myself,
Yes.
R.K. Srivastava. Everybody knows the importance of vocabulary. Without that, we can't go ahead. But here I want to know, is it necessary? Is it always necessary um, and possible that one should be very rich in vocabulary? Using the words properly and skillfully can serve the purpose of language. As far as I know, Shakespeare has a very limited um, set of vocabulary, but
No,
he,
sir.
you know, can you say
No, no,
something
no.
about this?
No, sir. In fact, Shakespeare has written so many plays because of
Yeah,
his
I know. Yes, I know.
power of words. So he has given us so many words still which we are using it. So the famous like the world is a stage, uh, right? And we all are actors. We are playing our roles, and there are exist entry and exist. So actually, in your question itself, you have rightly pointed out that there is a power of words. Words
Yes,
are very useful to express our ideas. I know
that's
that
what.
you want to, sir, you are a very senior person and you want to say more things. So I am sure that may I know your subject, sir?
Uh, no, I'm a retired government servant.
Okay, yes, sir. So, when you are communicating with your, we can say, employee, or when we are appointing our any employee, there what we see, however marks he has possessed, it doesn't matter.
Yes,
When
sir.
we are appointing a particular employee, what we see is that the way he communicates, the way, even though he has received 5% less marks, but it doesn't matter. The thing is that we need to have a strong, uh, not a vast vocabulary like Shashi Tharoor, the way Shashi Tharoor speak or Barkha Datta speak, but we need to have at least 10,000, 7 to 10,000 proper English words like adjective, uh, adverbs, right? So to make or to polish our language uh, in a better way. Yes, sir.
Agreed. Thank you very much.
Thank,
So,
thank you, sir.
so much.
Thank
Mhm.
It is more or less. Thank you, Shruti ma'am. But this question is more or less, as everyone has different IQ. Uh, the thing is that actors have greater memory power. That if we give the script to particular actor, some actor has a very good memory power, recite all those things which once they read it. So there is no sure shot method for memorizing spelling. I'm sure that everyone is have different kind of ways to remember the things, but we can, one way we can do it is that uh, it's a very common thing, but if we found out a particular word in a complex way, okay, if you find it a long word or long word which if you found out very difficult to remember, so try to remember, try to write it down 10 times. I'm just saying for particular, uh, as you have given this word vocabulary, there is a possibility that that particular, I can suggest to that particular student only, he can write it for 10 times. I'm sure that next time he can write it in a better way. This is for only writing English language is concerned. Okay, for speaking, actual pronunciation matters a lot. Like, okay, so there is no question of whether uh, pronunciation matters a lot during speaking, and uh, as far as writing skill is concerned, we need to write in mm, good English. We can say correct English and grammatically correct words. We need to write it down, and only one method I can say that even though few people there are so many ways actually they can watch it on television when the subtitles is running it down. Few people can remember it while reading. They can start reading a lot, so when they are reading, automatically their vocabulary will get it improved, and few of them can make it a drill, or few of them can make it word puzzles games. They can improve it in this context. So teacher can give it flashcard games or word puzzle games. So from that particular box they need to find out the correct spelling of vocabulary. So in this way their vocabulary is gradual. One thing I want to say it uh, very clearly is that learning vocabulary is not a one day job. Okay, it's a lifelong learning process. So we need to learn every day new words, or we can make it down, use it in the context. It's not the thing that uh, writing down 10 times and you will remember that word for a long time. We need to do another way, that take a word, use that word in the context in that particular time. Okay, so in this way we can improve the context. Thank you. uh, yes sir, there is of course more difference between definitional knowledge and contextual knowledge. Look at, when we there are thousands and lakhs of words in the dictionary, but we there is a possibility that we can't learn all those words, right? But the contextually, if we learn that word in the context, there is a possibility that we can uh, remember that word for a longer period of time. So dictionary definition doesn't improve our vocabulary, but I'm sure that if we take that particular word and use it in the context, we will remember for a longer period of time. Thank you. Is it for a teacher or is it for learners? So I think for teachers, if the teachers are using, if they want to improve or teach vocabulary in a different context, or by using uh, mobile assisted language learning, computer assisted language learning, or take a particular video clips, and they can uh, request, or they can ask to students to take down all those unknown, unfamiliar words and use it in the context. There are different ways of learning and teaching of vocabulary than traditional ways of teaching and learning vocabulary, like grammar translation method, direct method, and as I have already pointed out, few of them, right? I have given all those techniques in my talk, how to learn words and in the context. So one more thing, here there is one question that how can we aptly use appropriate words in sentences, although there are so many words carrying same meaning. Context, here context I have already talked about different shades of meaning, right? One example I want to give it here is that we need to understand cultural meaning as well. For example, in Kantapura, there is three words are there. Leaf is late. These are the three words described in that novel. Leaf is late. But actually, if you go the literal meaning of those words, it has a leaf is laid has nothing meaning. But if you see in the context, I am saying the food is going to be served on banana leaves in the southern part of India. So in that novel, food is ready. Leaf is laid means food is ready. So we need to understand each and every word in the context, and appropriate words use it in so many words, even though it has a different shades of meaning. We need to understand literal, connotative, and cultural meaning in the context only. That is the question I have answered. Appropriate words in the sentences, although there are so many words carrying same meaning. Yeah, there is no harm in using develop, enrich, enhance, right, enlarge. But the thing is that we should not repeat all the time develop, 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 develop whenever we are delivering a speech. That is what I want to say, right? The word develop has four synonyms. For example, enrich, enhance, boost, or something else. Okay. Here you can use it different words for the synonym of that word. That is what I want to convey to each and everyone. Don't use the word boost or develop all the time whenever you are writing or delivering a speech. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite to Dr. Satyendu Sharma, sir, Assistant Professor in Head Department of Sanskrit, for introduction to the resource person in vote of thanks.
या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रावस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्या. Namaskar to everybody who are not beginners but learned learners attending this program. First of all, on the second day of the faculty development program organized by the Department of English, I extend a warm welcome to all of you Today, we all listened on the topic enhancing vocabulary for effective teaching learning process. Dr. Prashant Subhas Rao Mothe has presented this topic between us in a very simple and interesting way. Dr. Prashant's academic introduction is absolutely wonderful and commendable. In brief, I would like to say that 3 research scholars are awarded for PhD degree and 4 are carrying out in his guidance. He has written 7 books and co-edited 7 books also. He is the chief editor of the UGC approved journal named Lang Lit and editor or advisor of various national and international journals. He has completed 2 research projects as principal investigator. His 35 research papers are published in journals and 25 research papers are presented in national and international conferences and seminars. He has conducted more than 75 webinars. He delivered lectures as resource person in 20 national and international conferences and seminars, and also played the role as chief person of technical sessions. Undoubtedly, the only service life of he has created a vast repository of academic achievements, and I would like to express our sincere gratitude to him for his contribution to our program. And now, I express my feelings in Hindi with your permission. वोकेबुलरी पर आज चर्चा हुई. शब्द संग्रह के बिना न वाक्य निर्माण हो सकता है न भाषा बोल सकते हैं. ये पार्ट ऑफ स्पीच के रूप में जो ये वोकेबुलरी है, मैं इसे भवन निर्माण की सामग्री के रूप में देखता हूँ. और जिस तरह बिना ईंट, गिट्टी, सीमेंट, बालू, छड़ों आदि के भवन का निर्माण नहीं हो सकता, वैसे ही विदाउट वोकैबुलरी हम किसी भी भाषा में अपनी गति नहीं बना सकते. ग्रामर कला है. जिस तरह भवन निर्माण का विशेषज्ञ भव्य भवन का निर्माण करता है, हो सकता है बगैर जाने से दीवारें खड़ी कर दे, लेकिन दीवारें तो खड़ी कर सकते हैं. वोकैबुलरी के बिना कुछ चीज नहीं कर सकते. कई बार तो केवल एक शब्द ही हमारी पूरी भावों की अभिव्यक्ति कर डालता है. इसमें मैं आपका ध्यान दिलाना चाहूंगा कि ये वोकैबुलरी हम पढ़कर और सुनकर सीखते हैं और अपने अपने स्तर पर सभी सीखते हैं. कई बार हम पढ़े लिखे लोग भी कॉपी करने में मिस कर जाते हैं. और मैं याद दिलाना चाहूंगा, बहुत पहले बनी एक फिल्म शोले, बोलता है कूद जाऊंगा, फांग जाऊंगा, मैं कूद कर प्राण दे दूंगा, गुड बाय. तो एक ग्रामीण पूछता है नीचे दूसरे से, ये क्या बोल रहा है गुड बाय? दूसरा भी जानकार नहीं है, ना कॉन्सेंस लगाया. कहा ये अंग्रेज लोग जब मरने लगते हैं ना तो गुड बाय बोलते हैं. मैं आपको एक अपने वरिष्ठ अंग्रेजी प्राध्यापक से सुना हुआ सत्य अनुभव बता रहा हूँ. एक बहुत अच्छे प्लेयर क्रिकेट के थे, अंग्रेजी नहीं जानते थे, लेकिन उन्होंने व्यवहार में देखा था, जब भी कोई उनसे हाथ मिलाता था और उनको बोलता था वेल प्लेड. एक बार किसी कोच से उनको मिलवाया गया परिचय दिया गया, ये फलाने जी हैं, कोच हैं। हाथ मिलाकर हमारे उस प्लेयर तो ये मैं परिहास करते हुए वोकैबुलरी बढ़ाने में या लैंग्वेज अचीव करने में हमारे साथ कभी कभी जो दुर्घटनाएं उससे आ रहा था। दूसरा, संस्कृत के नाते मैं आप प्रबुद्ध वर्ग से अपनी सोच शेयर करना चाहूंगा। मैंने सोचा ये हम लोग कोई नई भाषा सीखते क्यों? इसके पीछे केवल और केवल एक कारण है और वह है इच्छा शक्ति। यह इच्छा शक्ति विवशता जन्य भी हो सकती है। जैसा हमने देखा है, बिहार के बहुत सारे अशिक्षित लोग बंगाल गए, लेकिन 6 महीने बाद वो लौटे तो वो बांग्ला भाषा काम चलाऊ बोलने लगे थे। तो उनके अंदर कोई एकेडमिक जिज्ञासा नहीं थी, यह उनकी मजबूरी थी। उन्हें वहां रोजी रोटी पाना था, इसलिए विवशता जन्य सही उन्होंने भाषा सीख ली। यद्यपि से उनका कोई लेना देना नहीं। दूसरा जो भाषा अर्जन का कारण है वह है जिज्ञासा जन्य, और इसके सबसे अच्छे उदाहरण है विलियम जोन्स, विल्सन, मोनियर विलियम्स, मैकडोनाल्ड, एबिकेट, कार्ल ब्रोक, ग्रिफिथ। इन सब ने संस्कृत वाङ्मय का बहुत गंभीर अध्ययन किया और किताबें लिखी। और मजे की बात यह है कि हम भारतीय लोग इन अंग्रेज विद्वानों को उद्धृत करते हैं। दुखद प्रसंग यह है कि हमारे भारत में हमने पाखंड के नाम पर अपने सारे धर्म ग्रंथों को लाल रंग के कपड़ों में लपेट कर रख दिया है। दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है, हमारे संस्कृत के लोग संस्कृत नहीं बोलना जानते, स्वाध्याय से कोई लगाव नहीं है। उनमें से एक मुझे भी समझे आप। धन्य है वह मैक्स मूलर जिसने 12 वर्षों तक संस्कृत पढ़ा और वेद का अनुवाद किया। अब यह अलग बात है कि उसे मैकाले के द्वारा लगाया गया था और उसने बहुत सारी बेईमानी की, यह एक अलग प्रसंग है। लेकिन यह सच है कि हमारा संस्कृत वाङ्मय अगर बहुत अधिक मूल्यांकित हुआ है, विश्व हुआ है, तो उसके पीछे अंग्रेजी भाषा के जानकारों का योगदान है। तो आज हमारे लिए भी आवश्यक है कि हम अपने संस्कृत के साथ साथ अंग्रेजी में अपनी गति बनाएं। और अंत में हमारे प्राचार्य डॉक्टर राधा पांडे मैडम को मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा, जिनकी प्रेरणा से यह आयोजन सफल हो रहा है और विभिन्न स्थलों से मेधा के सुगंधित फलदार वृक्षों को इस फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम की बगिया सजाने वाले हमारे ऊर्जावान कर्मयोगी डॉक्टर राजीव तिवारी जी को हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ, जिन कारण बनने से हम सब अभी हो रहे हैं और आयोजन के विद्यानुरागी समस्त प्रतिभागियों के प्रति मैं हार्दिक उपस्थिति इस आयोजन में प्राणवायु का संचार कर रही। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद। इसके बाद अब यहीं पर हमारा दिव्य का दिव्य कार्यक्रम समाप्त होता है। आशा है अगले दिन पुनः इसी समय में आप सब उपस्थित रहेंगे। इसी तन्मयता और कार्यक्रम यहीं पर